or I use it but for very specific limited use cases. So we'll try and explore the spectrum of that, all of that. What you will get is the ability to really reduce what you're putting in a lot of time and effort into, sort of, crunching it into a much lesser time. And we'll see in the different use case scenarios that you will need. Okay, at any point in time, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. And if it is specific to your individual situation, not to the context I'm discussing, I'll request you to wait till the end of the workshop, because I might lose your question in the chat. All right, and I will set aside time for Q&A towards the end for your specific questions. If it is related to the topic that I'm talking about or sharing on screen, then please put it in right away. All right. For those of you joining in quickly and are seeing the chat, the question I had asked was, how often do you use ChatGPT? Is it on a daily basis? So number one, you use it 2 to 3 times a week. Number two, 3 is you've rarely used it. And 4 is you've never used it and you're here to learn why. Okay, so put it in the chat box so I know what's your stage of awareness. Okay. Diving right in, so essentially, why such a noise and hullabaloo about AI and ChatGPT, right? What is happening? If you think about it, there have been various, these points that you see over here. Let me see if there's a pointer you're able to see. If you see the cusps between every wave, the first wave to second wave, there's a transition point, second to third, there's a transition point, and so on, right? We are today at the transition point of what is being called the sixth wave, right? And it's much faster. If you see the gap, 60 years is what it took for us to move to a second wave, and the time has been considerably reducing. If you've been following this, following what's happening with the leaps and bounds with which AI use cases and the application of AI and ML are being used, every day there's change. That 25 years is also being crunched on a daily basis, literally today. Right. And why is it important for us? We're lucky, I would say. It's a very exciting time to be alive, because I'm sure all of you heard the stories about, automation will wipe out jobs, factory workers and blue collar labor will have nothing else to do. There'll be a loss of jobs, there'll be loss of living. It did happen, but what it did do is aided people. It helped people to use technology for their own benefit, to make lives efficient, production processes efficient, and so on. So today we are at that time where I think, while there is an inherent fear that will AI take my job, I think the more exciting part is to say, how can I use AI as a tool, as a support system to make my job more relevant, more productive, more exciting. Right? So that's really the point. And while it's not new just to us, change has been a constant for every wave that you see on the screen. Right? And we are lucky enough to be at a time exciting time where we are part of that crux of the wave. How we ride the wave is up to each of us, and how quickly you can learn and keep yourself upskilled. And I'm glad all of you are here to do precisely that. Right? So what exactly are the use cases of AI, right? You can use it for productivity, for communication, for efficiency, and for cognitive gains too, for your learning, for your individual mental development, intellectual development, right? So there's a different use cases of AI, and ChatGPT does most of this, if not all of these, right? So we'll see, and there are, of course, personal use cases for AI and for ChatGPT. But really, what are we doing, right? We are going from what you see on the left, saying, okay, Google was life today till recently was dominated by a Google search and everything came from it, to a much more personalized, input driven, but output is a complex multimodal generated response, right? That's where we are. The power of personalized responses, personalized to the point of your specific need at that time, and from a business standpoint, right, the whole world has been at Google's finger, at the mercy of Google because of the strength it had. Today, that is shifting at a very macro level. So today, businesses are saying, okay, how can I reduce my dependency on Google and therefore use something better, something more enhanced that serves my need, right? And that's really what we are here to learn and do. Okay. Also, please understand why ChatGPT is relevant, right? There are a lot of people who still think ChatGPT is good for specific people, for only specific use cases. But if you look at this data over here, what does it say? That you and I may be at a typical, while this is the US data, our IQs are probably in a similar bell curve that you see even in India or in Asia, right? You're talking about having the kind of help, the kind of smart help that lies at the outlier side of the IQ spectrum. So you're looking at someone who has an IQ of a 120 to 130. While that's Google bar, there is research that says ChatGPT is also about 130 to 140, 145 kind of range. So you're really talking about maybe an equivalent of a very smart college graduate or postgraduate being there to help you and support you in your learning, in your development, in your growth, right? And therefore it makes a lot of sense to get on this AI engine before you lose out and before you lose track. So what if you had an assistant with that kind of IQ, right? That's what ChatGPT is all about. That's what AI is all about. Does everybody know who this is on the screen? It's a bit dated, but I'm guessing some of you or most of you will know. Who's this on the screen that we're seeing? What character is this? Character, movie, whatever you can guess. Fairly popular. I'm guessing most of you would remember still from a few years ago. Who is this on the screen? Yeah, Chitti. Yes, Srijit. Give me more context for those who may not know who's Chitti. Which movie do you want to refer to the movie? Endiran, yes, Nishant. So Endiran, Robo, right? So this is the Robo the movie was all about, right? Everybody remembers, I hope. This is human Robo, absolutely. So this is literally what the kind of assistant we are talking about. We're saying an assistant or a teammate, you could use any of those names, but somebody who is capable of all of these things. Somebody who's patient, creative, analytical. If you recall the movie, right? If you remember the specific scenes on what value add really Chitti brings to Vasigaran's life, right? So patient, creative, analytical. He's well trained on internet's information, logical and unemotional, data driven. So works off completely off data, and quantum of data is crazy, right? Can move across domains, areas very effortlessly and very seamlessly, right? So if you hire an intern, okay, an intern who comes with a content creation background in probably, let's say, in healthcare, that intern will know only that much about that industry, right? But we're talking about somebody else, which is an AI, which is something like a chat GPT, which can move across domains very effortlessly. So if you want to talk about innovations in AI in healthcare, you have it at your fingertips, right? And this is somebody who can learn really well. But as with every creation that we've made, it isn't perfect, right? Because there are things like hallucinations. So why I'm telling you all of this is it's important to remember the limitations of a tool like ChatGPT, that it is not entirely always true, not entirely always throwing accurate and exact results, what are called as hallucinations. But for a large number of use cases, it does most of the job very efficiently. So that's really the robo at your hands, right? So let's get into what is generative AI and what is ChatGPT, right? What is the difference? So generative AI is the AI system, right, that is used to generate any form of new content. Now, while it is very simple as a use case when you think about it, the complexity lies in how this is done, right? So there is many large language models. There's a lot of tech that goes behind, which is in a very simplified manner to say you're taking maybe thousand to millions of data sets and evolving a pattern out of it to predict something in the future, something next. Right? So that's really what generative AI broadly in very layman terms is all about. So Chat GPT is one of the applications of Gen AI, which was developed by OpenAI, which is now valued at an insane, I think they're looking at a revenue of about $1.6 billion this year, going from very, very little in 2021. Years of work and effort has gone into creating ChatGPT as an application of Gen AI, right? What does it do? Very simple. It uses deep learning to process and generate. Yes, Srijit, it is a subset. It's an application of Gen AI, if you will, right? So it uses deep learning to process and generate human-like text. Now, it was text. We're looking at many more multimodal, which is image, video, etc. also coming out. But it really does that basis on your input. While this is all the theory, we don't need to understand so much of the science, but to think that what it does is essentially, if you remember the movie again, right? Robo is the simplest understanding of it. Someone gives him a stack of magazines to read. What does he do? He scans every magazine. Now imagine scanning thousands and millions of or hundreds of thousands of books like that. And then if someone asks you a question, right? If I ask you after you've read 1,000 books on, say, content writing, if I ask you that what are the top 5 keywords I can use in a blog on healthcare, your answer will be an output of the 1,000 books that you have read on this. It is a very simple extension of that with ChatGPT, right? So ChatGPT is giving you an answer basis the thousands, millions, or multi-million or billion data points that it has gathered over the history of what has been fed to it. That is essentially what an LLM does in very lay terms, but that's what you need to understand, that it is a function of the input it is working off, which is a bit of your input. So therefore prompts, and we'll come to that, and the data it is working off to give you an output. Okay, so that is the difference between Gen AI and ChatGPT. But where all can I use it, right? At the end of the day, I'm not sure how many of you are using it for what use cases. It'll be great to have it in chat if you tell me that what do you use. Those of you who use it on a daily basis, just put in quickly that what are the different use cases that you use it for. Those who have used it rarely, also mention it to me as to what you use it for, so I understand what cases have you explored, what scenarios are you using ChatGPT in, right? While I go through the list, right? So it's about personal productivity, which is what we'll cover a large part of today. That how can I make my life much more efficient, where I'm outsourcing a lot of my own, day-to-day tasks and chores to ChatGPT. Let's take a very simple example, right? As a maybe, today you're showing up at work every day, and your boss has told you that your work is not, your code of your dress code is not appropriate to what we follow at office. Please look up what is a techie dress code and come back to me. Now, what you would typically do, you'll go to Google, you'll go to Pinterest, you'll search what is a techie dress code, see 10 sources and do that. Through ChatGPT, and ChatGPT 4 can help you even better, or using custom bots, you can actually generate something for your own personal style statement which is in compliance with the dress code, which also factors in the clothes that you already have. So that is a level of personal productivity that you can use ChatGPT for, right? Content generation, assignment, learning coding language. Oh, okay, very good, Srijit. I can see. I don't know why you're here, but I do hope we can add value to you. All right. So one of the other use cases is content generation, which a lot of us are doing today, right? A lot of us use ChatGPT primarily to generate content for blogs, for posts, for social media, obviously with no-brainer, which is Insta posts, what caption, what visuals can I use, and so on and so forth, for LinkedIn posts, etc. Right? Or I would be, if I want to do ebooks, if I want to use it for content summary, yes, that's also true. If I want to just understand, not just generate content, but process content and regenerate content. For example, I feed ChatGPT 4 PDFs about a certain topic, and I say, okay, give me a summary of whatever is in this format, right? That's something that I can very easily do. I can also define and write out content for customer support and FAQs, right? That's something a lot of people still have not entirely explored, but something as simple as if you want to give scripts to your customer support team in different scenarios, right? Since most of the industry level scenarios largely remain same, there is maybe 20% variability, but 80% standard complaints, standard issues, etc. You can refine and create, get ChatGPT to give you customer support scripts as well as FAQs, right? Yes, Srijit, it is. There is specific GPT applications that you can do that with. All right. So then there is, of course, market research. If I want to research a specific topic, there are limitations in ChatGPT 3.5, which is the free version. ChatGPT 4 has slightly better abilities, but these are also all limited by what all documents can be freely accessed by the application. Okay. Language translation, content summary and digest. Again, we discussed content. Programming and coding assistant is something that a lot of developers use it for. So if I want to rewrite, there are applications that I can rewrite code in different languages, or I can input text and get code in different languages. May not necessarily be in ChatGPT itself, but there are many other AI applications that can do it. And ChatGPT 4 will have a lot of this as well. Creative writing and brainstorming. If I'm an aspiring writer, I want to be able to, and we'll explore some of these prompts, right? I can do that. Education is a no-brainer. If I want to learn about something, I can get ChatGPT to do that for me, personalize my learning journey. And I think one of you has already written that you would use it for. And of course, a lot more. Okay. But before we get into how, etc., right? Everybody understands what a prompt is. What I have not put in some of the very fundamental stuff in this presentation because I'm assuming by now prompts and prompt engineering is an everyday conversation piece for everybody. So what is a prompt? What's the noise about prompt engineering being the next big career move and so on and so forth? Do you know what is a prompt? It's a fairly basic question in a ChatGPT workshop. So what do we mean by when you say prompt, right? If I want to search about something, set of instructions, the paragraph written, Srijit, you've given a very good answer because a lot of people think prompt is a one-line statement. So the paragraph piece makes up for the missing information. So thank you for that. Absolutely, Ravish. It's like asking for information. Okay, what you would do on a Google is a key search string that you would enter, right? But because, and we'll come to why does ChatGPT need so much thinking about prompts, we'll come to that. But it is like saying that if you meet a professor, all right, if you were when you were a student, you met a professor. Now the professor has a lot of knowledge on, if you're an aspiring doctor or a doctor under training, has a lot of knowledge on ophthalmology, for instance, right? If you're an eye doctor. Now, until and unless you ask the doctor, the professor a specific question, all of his knowledge will not come out at you, tumbling out, right? It is about the question you ask. It's about the specificity of your question, the context of your question, and many other variables that you will get the knowledge out of it. Similarly, a prompt is essentially those instructions that you give ChatGPT about what you want, right? So how do we start it? You start with something as simple as an action word. Yeah. I will also do a demonstration of all of this, guys. I just want to finish the theory and then go to it, so don't worry about it. You start with an action word. What do? You use action words like create, write, make, or generate, instead of saying can you. And a lot of people will say, please give me this. You use niceties, you use politeness, etc. Not required. So you start with, what do you want? I want you to do this. I want you to create something. I want you to write something. I want you to make something. I want you to design something, and so on. I want you to summarize something, right? You also provide a lot of context. So the art of prompt engineering is a lot around this, right? So how are you providing the context? You want to specify what kind of content output you want. Do you want it in a formal language? You want it in an interactive language? What is the length you want? What is the tone of voice you want, right? So for example, if I say, share five, or rather generate a LinkedIn article about ChatGPT, right? And if I leave it at that, what will that look like versus getting much more specific? Okay, let me see if I'm able to parallelly share screen. Okay. So how am I going to specific content? How will I get into specific tasks and specific prompts, right? What am I using as tone of voice? So I will say that generate a LinkedIn article of under 150 words where you use a formal tone of voice as a professional and whatever else, right? But that is not enough. Okay. And we'll come to why that is not enough. That will also give you limited results. Why will that happen? Because you've not gotten into much more specificities, and we'll come to what that means, right? So what do? You also task it with what you wanted to do. So summarize, translate, we've done that, right? Experiment with different prompt structures. Also, depending on the output you want to structure your prompt differently. So it's like I said, right? It is about how are you training something. So if you hire an intern today, right? What would you do? You hire somebody in your team. You will not expect them to start delivering exactly how you want from day one. You would train them. You would give them the context of the organization. You will give them the kind of culture you have, or you give them information about what are your different products, what are the different service level agreements that you have. All of that context you will give. So with ChatGPT, that is what you are expected to do. give that context, right? Experiment with this, and then you scenario specific prompts, right? So if I want to say that I would like to generate a LinkedIn post that takes a storytelling format with an anecdote about ChatGPT's use cases in content generation. That is a much more specific scenario in which you're asking it to do, not just talking about tone of voice. And you craft the prompts tailored to that scenario, right? So that's one part. Now, what else do? You also use role play scenarios, which is what I was telling you earlier, right? When I said that generate a LinkedIn post, who am I is not built as a context, right? So I start with giving it a personality, a persona. I will say that I have 20 years of experience in sales and marketing, and I'm and operations, and I'd like to write about use cases of chat gpt in the industries of healthcare, and from a tone of voice that shares my experience. Can you all, then I will refine it further, saying that rewrite this content as a story, right? And so on. I keep refining it till I get the output that I want. There is also the option of regenerating, etc. Right? You also use references. So you write a list of what, like in this case, right? What is the reference you're giving? You're saying, I want it in a Shakespearean style. Or if I want to say that, rewrite this LinkedIn post as if Anand Mahindra has written it, right? That might work. That's another way to do it. Or rewrite this LinkedIn post as though in the tone of voice that Donald Trump would write it in. I'm getting much more specific and I'm giving it a reference, and I'm therefore refining my output further. And the most important piece is to be specific, right? Instead of writing stuff like write marketing copy to make my email more fun, or rewrite this email to get better open rates, that won't help, because it has no context who you are writing to, what you're writing for, and in what context are you writing. So what business are you writing this for? So those are some of the do's about prompt engineering. But some of the don'ts is what you should really keep in mind, which is what, do not be ambiguous with the questions, right? Because it will not give you the specific results you want. Do not provide personal information, which is clear, no. And it is important to cross examine and double check the responses, right? Because we know, like I mentioned about hallucination, there are a lot of factual inaccuracies that could exist. So you do a quick fact check, you do a quick plagiarism check if required. If you're getting assignments from or something from your teammates, you also do that check on a separate checker. You avoid information overload, right? So many times what happens is when you give it, so it's a learning model, right? What does it do? It takes for an input, refines it, then takes the next part of the input, gets better. So it is about step-by-step instructions instead of giving it a one-time a dump of information that you want to give. And that's how it improves, and it gets a more personalized response. Open-ended and vague questions are a big no-no on ChatGPT, right? Because those will give you very random, generic answers and does not help your use case, right? And most importantly, conflicting terms will not give you it. It kind of confuses the model, so it will generate wrong results. So do not use conflicting terms. So when you're writing a prompt, it's important to be very specific, not use conflicting terms, not do information overload, and be unambiguous and not use sensitive information. All right. Some of these are the don'ts with ChatGPT. Okay. Now, what I want to do, just 1 second, guys. I will like to. Sorry, just give me 1 moment. Some of the applications that of ChatGPT that we will take a look at is, for instance, Canva, right? The presentation that you're seeing right now, I've made it on Canva. What can Canva do? Canva can help you generate very customized images to your prompt. So it has a DALL-E integration that it will do. It can help you rewrite your text in a better fashion. There are obviously lots of templates that you can use. So I'm talking about different applications of AI and extensions of what you can do for personal productivity through ChatGPT, extensions of ChatGPT applications. So you can redo all of your work on Canva, for presentations, for documents, for infographics, for various kinds of content, including ebooks. Image generation, you could use tools like Midjourney, DALI, etc., which help you specifically generate images that are suited to your prompt. So, for example, if you notice in one of these slides, right, let me just share this part. If you look at any of if you want to generate so in this case, I don't know if you notice, this is a style of an artist called Vincent Van Gogh, right? So yeah, Srijit, give me one moment, okay? I'll just come to that. If you go to if you look at this painting, that prompt I gave it was generate, and this is a DALI integration on Canva. I said, generate an image which shows a humanoid multitasking, but generate it in the style of Vincent Van Gogh. All right, so this is Vincent Van Gogh's self-portrait. It's taken that. It's shown him trying to use a gadget. And in the setting, if you see the background and the style of painting is that of Vincent Van Gogh. This is not a ready image. Now, stuff like this to show your scenarios that you're trying to build. If you're setting a context of a presentation, that's what it will help with. Okay, and coming back to, I'm sorry guys, this takes a little while to transition between slides. So just give me a moment. Okay. One app that I'd like all of you to open. Okay, unfortunately, I missed the part that I won't be able to share screen on this application, but I'm going to put in the links and I want you all to take a look. Is this one? This is udly.ai. Very powerful AI tool that you can use to record videos of your own self, which helps you tweak your pitches, helps you prepare for interviews. If you're talking, if you're going to make a critical presentation, how are you speaking? What is the voice modulation like? What is the use of filler words, filler phrases like? All of those aspects, Udly can help you with. Similarly, there is gamma.app. I am so sorry. I was hoping to share screen and demonstrate all of this, but I'm not able to. Gamma.app is a game changer, helps you. So what you would do if you want to generate a presentation, the quantum of work you'd put in is you would actually try to generate the content for the slides, basis the research, etc. What gamma.app can help you do in conjunction with ChatGPT, right? Gamma.app itself has an AI layer, but what it helps, what great usage is, feed in your prompt on ChatGPT. For example, if I want to talk about, OpenAI's progression over the last 5 years, let's just assume OpenAI has not even been around for them, last 3 years. So OpenAI's growth trajectory and projections for the last three years and the next 2 years. Okay. Whatever data ChatGPT generates, I pick that content up, whatever my prompt has delivered. I pick that up, I paste it into gamma.app and it generates a full-fledged PPT for me, right? In literally minutes, you're done with what would have been hours of work that you would have had to do. That's the power of gamma.app. And what's interesting is there is enough credits in the free version. So this is all the tools that I'm telling you, I'm talking about the free versions only. The paid versions obviously do a lot more. So Canva AI imagery is probably paid, but you can always use the free version of DALI, Midjourney, or whatever else. Similarly, for content writing, content rewriting, checking, etc., extensions like Grammarly and Quillbot and many others exist. Most importantly, from a productivity standpoint, Notion has been a great game changer for me. What it helps you do is it helps you organize your personal life in many, many ways using AI and using ChatGPT also. So what it helps you do is, for instance, if I want to create let's take a personal productivity scenario, right? If I say that, hey, this is my organization, And I'm in say customer support for a food and beverage industry, for instance, right? Or for a food and beverage, or a restaurant, for 5 restaurants. This is my backend customer support for a cloud kitchen. And currently I'm using maybe 10 agents to handle a call volume of 500 a week. What are the ways in which I can improve this? That's the kind of ChatGPT prompt I would put in. What it does, Notion, you can actually break that down to a task level for your teams, what different teams can do, what groups within these teams can do, what each individual's, therefore, individual level changes would look like. That's what Notion helps you do. Notion helps you actually with much better with personal productivity as well. For example, if I want to say my financial goals for 2024 are this, and what is, if I make, for example, I make 20,000 rupees a month, and I'd like to have a savings of 1 crore at the end of 15 years or 10 years. How does this work? What should my savings plan and investment plan be? Right now, while you can do that on ChatGPT, Notion also lets you do that because of its integration, right? So Notion is, again, most of its features are free to use, so it's great from individual work as well as for teamwork. All right. Zapier is another awesome integration tool which can help you integrate and for one of these to talk to the other, right? So if, for example, at work, what I do is, if I've run a customer survey, as simple as that, right? If you run a customer survey on a Google form, a free Google form, and you want to figure out as and when the customer results come, as it's a very simple use case, and you do not want to keep going to that Excel sheet to see that. All I have to do is use Zapier to integrate it with my internal collaboration tool. It could be Slack, it could be, yeah, largely, I would say I've seen it on Slack. Is this data, I will start getting notifications on Slack itself every time my customers build, and I will also see the responses on my Slack channel. How that helps is, if you have a customer service team or a customer support team, all of them can see the results instantly as and when it happens. Similarly, if I want to integrate payment notifications, or payment alerts, or failure alerts, or purchase alerts, Zapier helps Razorpay integrate with Slack, and you get all of these notifications super quick. Some of these are what I'm talking about are very simple use cases for individuals as well as small teams. All right. So those are some of the basic tools wherewith the free versions can help you. What we could also look at is some of the plugins that ChatGPT exists with. Okay. So, for example, for note taking, right? Again, if you're talking about Copilot, is a tool that I've seen a lot of orgs use, which helps them with not just with comprehensive coding, etc. But what you can also do is from a note taking standpoint, right? What does this, how it helps your organization. Similarly, Notion, I just gave you the example, but these are some of the use cases that you can see of Notion, right? So it helps you do, it rides off, like I said, I'm assuming ChatGPT, but grammar, spell check, paraphrasing, task planning, ideation and brainstorming, task sharing between team members, and making information across the board. So all I could do on Notion is create different dashboards for my team to be able to contribute to and collaborate on. All right. So some of the examples are here on what you can do with Notion. Microsoft 365 kind of suites help you with a lot more, again, similar, but it rides off Microsoft 365. So planning content, agenda, work-life calendar, designing slides, SEO, all of this. Some of these, I've just left some screenshots for you to see. And making budgeting easier from an individual standpoint, like I was saying, what can you do about financial planning and budgeting, etc., right? So how do you do that? You could use a tool like Clio. That helps you break it down further. Now, a lot of this is similar to what you can do on ChatGPT, but this will help you. It's like a separate application, so you can take a look at it from a progress standpoint, etc., and integrate it with your remittances that happen to your accounts, or salaries coming in, automated EMI payments are going out, etc. So this is what it helps with. Okay, so that's Clio. Just a second, guys. If you have, so I'm unfortunately unable to share screen, which has become my biggest challenge. Oh, okay, awesome. Sorry, guys, 1 second, huh? Or create an account. Now, let's explore what it means, all the theory that we learned about prompt engineering, right? Let's take an example. Look at, um, okay, can one of you give me your full name? Can one of you give me your full name? Srijit or Ravish, whichever of you, give me your full name. Anybody? Ravish, Nishant. Oh, okay. Where do you live, Srijit? Where did you say you're from? Okay, I need the location also. Let's see. Okay, you see that? All right. Just gathering my last post's copy and seeing what I can do. Okay. Okay, this is all right. Let's see what that does. Oh, no. Okay, now you see what happened. If you look here, right, what did it do? It misunderstood my pop. Did you guys see what I asked? I put my last detailed post and I said that this was my last post on LinkedIn. Okay, and I wrote it quite some time ago. And I said, rewrite the previous suggested post in this tone. What did ChatGPT do? It said, absolutely. Here's a LinkedIn post that maintains the tone and spirit of your previous post, and rewrote the one that I already did and posted it. But I said, okay, that is not what I wanted. Rewrite the post of ChatGPT's use cases in the tone above. And it has changed it. See the difference? It is not the same language or whatever as earlier. It is, I think the hashtags have stayed the same. And this is how you can use it to generate content that is very, very personalized to your own tone of voice. Now, taking the same as an extension, you can do ebooks, you can do, so if you want to, if you're in marketing, you can use this for lead hooks, for lead magnets. Let's take a situation, right? How many, I mean, who, I want to see whose business we can go to. Let's say, okay, sales engineer. Vikram, do you want to, are you still with us? Do you want to give me something that you're looking to learn on in some kind? Okay. Now, I'll come to the PPT, Rakesh. Just give it a moment. Okay. Now we've said career assessment tests, etc. What are the tools? What are the different careers? Add information about average pay scales for each of these careers for entry level, about entry level pay scales for each of these careers. Now let's see what it does. Okay, there you go. Now, if I want to, now it will not make you a PPT, all right? What it will do is you can take this and let me show you another interesting tool then is gamma.app. Okay. Do you see that? Now, what am I going to do? I am going to take all of this and put it here. No, okay, these were test cases that I was using. Generate. Okay. Okay, hold on. First of all, I can give it a prompt with AI, which I can, or I can just let's see what the difference will be. Generate a PPT with different career choices for grade 11 and 12 students. Okay. Now, if you see this, I think I need to change my account. Now it's asking you to pick a theme. Hold on, I'm not sure how much is visible to you guys. Yeah. All right, now I can shuffle themes. I can choose what kind of theme I want. So this will depend on, what kind of logo colors you have or what is it that you want to use, who's your audience, etc. Right? If I do that and I say generate. This is where I've put in the prompt that it was already, that I gave it an open prompt. Like I gave it an open-ended prompt over here now. What is it generating? It's generating a full-fledged PowerPoint presentation that you can use, right? It's a free tool at this point. I'm out of credits on this free tool, but I think I have another account that I can use. But what you can do is also edit this. It will also generate relevant images that it can use. So if you see, right, you can actually redo the image. For instance, if I say surprise me, it will redo the image. I can also give it a specific prompt to redo the image. Okay, it will take a bit to load. Similarly, it has gone with this structure. Now, if I don't want to do this, okay, if I want to say that I want to edit with AI or create something else, back to prompt. Okay, now I don't want to do that. I want to use AI to generate this. Okay, I don't like this, but so I will, or rather, sorry, I don't want AI to do it. I want to give it my own prompt, what I've copied from ChatGPT. Okay, and that is a game changer with this. What does it do? I've added. Okay, I can go do this card by card. So what I will do is remove some of the prompts. Let's look at, say, these three. I'm just putting in these cards, okay? Generate outline. So I've just said data analytics, for instance. Okay, and I go to the next one. Same logic, same everything, and it's as simple as that. All right, so this, what you can do is actually edit it. For example, you're seeing all of this, but I don't want this, right? Let me just wait for it to load. What I can do is I can actually add my, hold on, here is what I want to do. Change this card. I want to add all of this here. So I can say create an infographic with this data. or I can say create a, yeah, okay, let's see what this gives us. All right, let's see what that looks like. Are you guys able to see? So this is actually the PowerPoint it has generated. What are the responsibilities and skills required? What is the average salary range? All of that. Okay. What does an entry level data position look like? So all of these things. Okay, so that's really what a tool like this can do. A tool like, so you combine this, you combine ChatGPT's output with a tool like that, your PPT is ready. Or contrary to that, if you want to not do that, you can take this data, input it into Canva, and create your own presentation if you have a certain brand guideline, certain styles, etc., that you want to use. Okay. Uh, Rakesh, that was not Canva, that was Gamma.app, but my presentation that I was showing you currently was Canva. Okay. Now this is one. What I also wanted to show you guys was Udly. Anyway, I think you can explore on your own time, because that's really amazing if you're looking for a job change, or if you have a panel or internal promotion that you're preparing for, or you have a critical presentation that you want to do, right? So you walk through your presentation, you practice, and you upload it, and record it, and it will give you exactly where you're lacking in your speech, what are the filler words that you're using, all of those examples. Okay, are there any other use cases that you guys would like to see, or I will go into other applications that we can do on ChatGPT? Okay, we've explored this. Now if I want to say things like personal use, right? Very simple. Personal use, if I want to do okay, um, I am 28. I'm a 28-year-old male who is 5 feet, 5 inches tall, and weighs 75 kilos. What is the ideal caloric requirement for me, and what should I do if I want to lose 10 kilos in 3 months? All right, are you guys able to see this? Okay, it's giving you generic information like this. Now, can I customize this, right? Can I customize this to my needs? Give me a 4-week daily meal plan that is veg based on a plant diet, is dairy free, and and does not involve nuts. Now, if what are the business applications of something like this, right? This is since I'm focusing today on personal productivity. This is I've put in this. But if I'm in a food and if I'm in a business where I have a food brand, if I'm a D2C food startup, can I use something like this and make my own recipe books as a downloadable for my audience? Can I use this content to make a presentation for for a family audience? Can I use this for a webinar? Can I generate something like this and use it at a webinar? There are loads of applications that I can do. Right now, I made the mistake of putting all of this in the same prompt, which is what you should not do. Now if I do it separately, right, if I say that I am a digital marketing professional who has 10 years of experience, I have recently started my own digital marketing consultancy. What is consultancy targeting? Startups in D2C startups in the health food segment. that are retailing on popular e-commerce portals like Amazon, Big Basket, and others. Okay, notice I'm not giving it generic open-ended prompts. I'm giving it very, very specific prompts on who my audience is, who I am, what is the objective, what is the task on hand. I'm going to define now, right? What is the task on hand? Generate a lead generation and okay, a lead generation plan with the right tools that I can use to get these brands to pay me INR 20,000 or above per month. Now, the last part might be too vague for ChatGPT. We'll see what that does, right? So it's giving me generic advice. If you notice, it's giving me very generic advice on what I can do, CRM tools, etc., etc. How do we make this far more specific? Let's take a look at this. Okay, understand your ideal client list. (2018) or after the retail in India. So it will not give you real-time data, unfortunately, since it's 3.5. Now let's take the same prompt and see what 4 does. Okay. It doesn't have context, mind you. So that's something you'll want to see. Okay. So you actually have a possible list of prospects, right? Now, if I say, are you seeing this? I think one of you said you're a digital marketing startup, right? Yes, Nishant, it should. I've been able to do that. If I upload it, it kind of uses my style and it does it. I won't say it's 100% accurate, but it is definitely something you can. So if you're going to start from 0 to 1, right, it'll get you to at least 0.5 and then you can go forward. Now imagine using this as an input for your lead gen, right? Now, if I'm saying that, okay, I have these specifically, how can I use this information? Let's see how we can use this information. I will, if I get these ideas, right, what can I do? I can actually create sample posts, find the founder's email ID from LinkedIn and send him a lead gen email with the subject, what your Instagram engagement could look like, or increase your Instagram engagement by 40% or whatever number I put it, right? And this is what I can create and share it with them. That is more likely to get the founder's attention than me actually saying, hey, I'm a digital marketing expert and I've done this for these many brands. Can I get 30 minutes of your time to get on a call? Is it yes or no? Do you guys agree? Do you not agree? So this is what I can create visuals. Now I can get the visuals also from here, or I can get the possible gadget, but it is not, I wouldn't totally recommend that you lift this off and do it, because somewhere your own capability has to come into play, right? What will you do? You will pick this up, you will create it, or you take the prompts and create it and refine it basis what you actually see on Instagram of their posts. If you're already seeing a lot of BTS content, then maybe not, maybe something else you will suggest. Or you can say that basis the current audience of healthy recommend a lead magnet that I can suggest to the marketing team. Or I can refine this even further and I'll show you how. Okay, so this is really how you can use ChatGPT to keep refining what you want and getting to the point of what you want. How many of you are already doing this? And how many of you will, are happy with the fact that, okay, there is something new that I've learned today? If you're already doing this, then that's great. And we can improve on that, build on that to see other extensions and applications of it. But if you're not already doing it, it's high time you up your ChatGPT game. So look at this. It says exclusive healthy recipe ebook, nutrition and wellness guide. Now I can actually break it down further. I can keep working on the same prompt to make it even more specific to say that generate a 10-page ebook containing cookbook, digital cookbook containing unique recipes using quinoa, millets, whatever ingredients that I want. And that is where your own individual thinking will come into play, right? How do I, what is the, if I want to create a landing page for a personalized meal plan trial, what should the header be, what should the copy be, what should the key image be, what are the I'm running a Facebook campaign on that or a meta campaign on that landing page, what should my ad copy say? So all of that can be further refined on this and it can give you the right output. Okay. I'm just going to quickly go back to my. All right. I hope that part was helpful for everyone. I'll just quickly go to what I've left to share and okay. So just really, guys, this is just the beginning. Okay, we've literally scratched the surface on this. Unfortunately, time is always a constraint, but there are many ways in which we can improve this, and it is literally going to be a game changer in the next few months. And what your career can take a turn for, what kind of changes you can see, will depend really on how efficiently you can use tools like this. Okay, today was just personal productivity, but there are many tools that we can use for various use cases, right? So how do you use automation, AI-led automation for different applications, right? And for many other elements as well. So those are the different learnings we have. This was just one workshop that we do at j.u.n.o. There are many other workshops that you can see on the screen, and we do courses as well. So do reach out to us if you're looking for others in this similar space. And if you have any questions now, I'm happy to take. We do a full course on lead gen as well, so it'd be good if you can find out more from the j.u.n.o team. That's it from me now because of the issue from time. Otherwise, there's so many use cases we can still do on ChatGPT. But let me know if you have any more questions. Thank you, Rakesh. I'm glad you did. I think some of you have been doing this for a while. I really hope there was value add for you. And if you have any more questions, I'm happy to take, or we can call it a day today. All right. I'm going to wait another minute to see if there are any more questions. Yes, Ravish? Mastering child. You'll have to ask the j.u.n.o team, Ravish and Rakesh. I don't know Ravish, other tool, and use them to put transitions on Runway and see if that's working. But I don't think the free version allows you to do so much. Okay, the paid version probably does. All right, guys, thank you so much and good night. And thank you for hanging around till the end. Sorry about the glitches in the middle, but I hope it was useful. Okay, do give your feedback, please, to the j.u.n.o team on their, on their feedback form, and that'll really help us. Okay, Perplexity, I've never tried. I'm going to give it a try. Is Perplexity web-based or an app-based tool? Perplexity is yet another text application only, no? Okay, let me try it out. Okay, thank you guys. Thanks everybody and have a good night.